Hello everybody, this is Kelly Oblak for this week's Sketch It Out Thursday. This is our inspiration piece for the week, and I took my inspiration piece from that yarn in the middle kind of there. I replicated or used the blue, yellow, and green colors there. This is a sketch that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to rotate just the background by 90 degrees. You'll see how I do that. So I'm going to use some papers from Amy Tangerine as the background of my layout there. They're both from the On a Whim collection, which is her newest collection. And this triangle ombre paper, which I'm absolutely in love with, and so glad that I found a sketch to feature a huge piece of that paper. That paper is called Tropical Paradise, by the way. It's gorgeous. I should just get another piece while it's still fairly plentiful. And then that piece that I have there, that green grid, is also from On a Whim, and it's called Let's Leaf. So I love the way those two look together. It just really picks up on the green here. And my original thought was I was just going to do the green and blue, but I'm going to change that in just a minute. I just cut the border off a smaller strip of the green paper that I have. It's that little like chevron border there, so that again is also from the On a Whim Let's Leaf paper. And I'm going to use that to separate the two pieces of paper there. I'm using my tablet there to get the sketch back up to make sure that I'm at least sort of following it. I have a doily there that's from Recollections, and it's a 5.5 inch doily with my 4x6 photo there. And so I really like that. I'm kind of looking for, I went looking for my wax paper there so that I could put this doily on it, because I remembered that in the yarn there was a green, a yellow, a blue, a turquoise, and a mint. And I'm not going to use the turquoise and mint on this layout, but they would have been cool additions as well. I really wanted to feature the green and the blue, but I am going to add in a pop of yellow. And I think it's something kind of unexpected here. And really those three colors are analogous colors, I guess. They're maybe not even, they're not actually truly analogous, but they sit very close to each other on the color wheel, because obviously yellow and blue make green. So it's a great way to use colors. Now there were some flowers on that inspiration board this week. There were some tulips and there were some roses as well, which made me dig very, very deep into my stash for my box of flowers, which I rarely use anymore. And I think most, if not all of these, are from Prima. That's where most of my flowers have come from. And I'm going to fool around with these for quite a while, trying to figure out exactly how I want them to be arranged and what kind of cluster I want to happen here. And I'm sitting there with my border strip is there, and I originally, when I thought about using that yellow border strip, I was going to use it underneath the photo to replicate a piece that is underneath the photo in the sketch, but in the end I don't do that. I actually put it up along the border between the two pages. I just think it will look better. And I kept having problems with this because the layout, if you see the layout of the flowers there, they look kind of boxy and a little bit weird there. There's too many, I think, and too many of the wrong size for sure. So I keep trying to play with this and get it to work, and I'm just having all sorts of problems. So I do decide that I want to bring another floral cluster up to the top left there. On the sketch there's flowers on the top left and on the bottom right. Or a flower, I think, if I remember correctly. I know I just showed you the sketch, but actually I didn't do this one too long ago. It was about a day ago. Alright, so now I have the top left flower is pretty much arranged, but I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with the bottom right there. And that just looks way too crowded. So I kind of go back to the original 3, but I don't like that because it echoes the top 3 on the top left a little bit too much for me, would be the best way to explain it. You know, it just looks like I took the top and just made the flowers bigger and ended up with the bottom flowers, which is not what I'm trying to achieve. Now I'm going to cut a little bit of that doily off of the edge there. I did think about using it somewhere else on the layout, like maybe on the top there and creating a cluster up there, but in the end I decided not to. And in the sketch, really, it's all around the bottom there. So what I'm doing here is I have the Ellie Studio everyday cutout sheet, or everyday moments cutout sheet there, and I was originally looked at that for the yellow little date label that was on that sheet, but when I was going to cut that out, I realized that the green in this little card that says Happy Note was really perfect for this layout. So I'm going to use that first, and once I change my mind about how I'm going to use the yellow border strip, the fact that I didn't use that yellow card is going to make a lot more sense to me. And I'm still fooling around trying to figure out the clusters there, which I'm going to keep doing for a while. And I decide now finally just to put the photo down, because I figured if I got that down and stopped moving that around, at least I would need to make a decision about how the rest of this looked. And that's really exactly what happens, is once I stop moving that around, I do have to make decisions. So Heidi Swap had, I don't know if she still talks about this, but she had a philosophy years ago. I took a class from her in 2007 that was glue and go. So the minute you make a decision about something, you know, you pull, like when I pulled that doily and put it behind the photo, that could have been glued down right then. You spend less time scrapping because you spend less time agonizing over millimeters or arrangements of things. Now, whether you can live with that is another story. Whether you're okay with that. I don't know that I totally am. I have done glue and go layouts, and certainly when I was taking the class I did it, but I don't do it as much as I used to, for sure. And what I'm doing here is I'm making decisions about how far over that border strip I want the Happy Note card to go. And what I did is I cut the card in, not quite half, but I probably could cut a good third off of the bottom of it, so it wasn't quite so long. I just like the way that flowed into the flower cluster then, would be the best way to describe that. So now I am taking my flowers, I'm taking my glue dots, and I'm going to put my flowers down. I'm going to commit to 3 of these and then figure out how the rest of them sort of look to my eye. And I have a lot of flowers there. I love this combination of the green, the blue, and the yellow. And now, you know, I have yellow on there right now, but watch what happens once I put this border strip down in just a little bit. And again, kind of figuring this out. And that's going to be the cluster I go with the little pop of yellow flower on the top there, and then the blue flower on the bottom. And that blue is a really, really good match in here for, it's like a dark version of the blue in the ombre paper there. And I'm trying that date label there, which kind of inspired me to go to those cutout sheets, but I don't like the fact that it looks kind of like it's a step from the other piece of paper, and that's fine. I don't really need it. I don't have a ton to say about this photo. It's my sister and I, and we're leaving on a weekend getaway together to go up to my brother and sister-in-law's place for a girls' weekend. My brother was there now that I think about it. But anyway, we were doing a girls' weekend, and my brother. And we were sending a photo to my mom because my mom doesn't live in the same state that we do for most of the year. So she was a little jealous that we got to go and hang out together. All right. So now I'm kind of looking at this Doodlebug border strip, as I said. I think if I had had one more small green flower, I could have put that sort of on the bottom, kind of between the yellow flower and blue flower on the bottom, and it would have looked okay. But I didn't have another small green flower in that kind of Kelly green, for lack of a better word, of the ones that I was using. The small green ones. So I just kind of had to deal with that. And what I had to do there is, that border sticker is from Doodlebug. It's their Fancy Frills collection, and it's the bumblebee color. And so what I needed to do was get the little pieces out of the loops there. They didn't come off the sheet when I took it off. And now you can kind of see what a cool addition, if I do say so myself, that yellow border sticker was actually on the border. It just really pops the layout when I do that. I love how it looks. And of course now the yellow flowers make more sense, but just the whole layout goes, wow. And it really draws your eye to the photo because there's a yellow on top and yellow on the bottom, and then that dark in the middle. And it makes a huge difference there. So now I am looking at my Jelly Bean Soup Alpha Beans stickers there. And I'm going to create my title. And these are, I did not write them down. I'm so sorry. I think it's something yam, if I remember correctly. I don't think these are available anymore anyway, but I think they're yam yellow, if I remember correctly. And they're the larger, there's two different kinds of letters in Alpha Bean in these stickers. These are the larger set of the two. Otherwise you get really small letters, which I use a ton of those as well. I am having to create an M or an N out of an M for on, and then I didn't have an A anymore, so I took a Q and just cut the tail off of that. So I made the letters, the letter stickers work for me, not the other way around. If you do that, you just use up so many more. This was a pretty easy title to get down. It fit really nicely there. I was able to, you know, just kind of, I put it on my wax paper. I probably wouldn't have had to do that, except I wasn't positive that it would fit across the top of that photo the way I wanted it to. But it did. And these are a great match. They're not exactly the same color as the border sticker, but the flowers are all a little bit different, or a little bit different too, so it just works. One of the things I had to get over in scrapbooking was making sure that all of my yellows were exactly the same and that kind of a thing. I don't do that anymore. You can use all different shades and tints of flowers. So I went and I grabbed my bling envelope there, and I have it in a bigger Cropper Hopper envelope that you can store stickers in, and then if I have a bunch of the same color, sometimes I'll do like what I am doing here. So all my dot jewels, or clear rhinestones, I guess that's what it is, rhinestone jewels, are in the same little envelope, and those actually were for cross stitch floss. I had some left, and I really don't cross stitch anymore as much as I loved it at one point. First of all, I scrapbook too much to have time for it, but more importantly, I've gotten older and I can't see anywhere near as easily as I used to be able to. I remember my grandmother saying to me when I was working on something in my 30s that was really tiny, "How can you possibly see that?" And I thought she was crazy. I thought, how can she not see it? And now I get it. I'm in my 50s, so anyway, all right. So those rhinestones are from Crystal Elements, and I'm just going to do just a little bit of journaling on that card, and then you'll see a still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and we'll be back with another video soon. Bye.